Hey guys, Mrs. Vesta here. This week we're dividing a whole number by a fraction and a fraction by a whole number. I'm going to show you how to do this while baking a cake. Let's say that I'm baking a cake for Mr. Ureste, but he only wants half of a cake. I'm taking all of the ingredients and I'm going to divide them by 2. To do this, you're going to have to use KFC, and I hope y'all remember how. K is for keep the first fraction, F is for flip the second, and C is to change the division sign into a multiplication sign. I've already put half of the cake mix in here, and I'm going to now figure out how to divide everything else by 2 to mix into the bowl. Since we have a mixed fraction for this first one, I am going to have to do an extra step. It's going to be mad. Remember, n is to multiply the whole number in the denominator, and then we're adding the numerator. Now, the denominator stays the same, right? So all I'm doing is 1 times 4 plus 1, and that's going to be my fraction. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide. We're going to follow KFC. We're going to go ahead and keep this first fraction and now flip this second. Remember, we would always put the whole number over 1. So if we put the 2 over 1, we are going to have to flip it. I'm going to rewrite it over here. 5 over 4, and we're going to have 1 over 2. Remember, we needed to change this sign to a multiplication sign. And now we're going to multiply across. 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 2 is 8. I'm going to need 5/8 cups of water for this. Next, we're going to do 1/3 cup of butter. This one is the same thing again. We're going to put the whole number over 1. And I am going to have to flip it now, right? We're keeping that first fraction the same. And we're flipping the second. So we're keeping the 1/3. And we are going to flip. So we've kept the first fraction and we have flipped the second, and now we're changing that division sign to a multiplication sign. And we multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. We're going to need 1/6 cup of butter. Now for the eggs. You're probably thinking, what in the world? These are not fractions. None of these are fractions. Well, let's go ahead and turn them into one. 3 over 1, can we do that? Yes, we can. We could put that whole number over 1, and we put the 2 over 1. Now we have our fractions to divide with. Let's go ahead and keep that first fraction, and we're going to go ahead and flip the second one. Let's go ahead and flip the 1 over 2, and we're going to change the division sign to a multiplication sign. Let's go ahead and do 3 times 1 is 3. And 1 times 2 is 2. Now, that is an improper fraction. Remember, we're going to have to do another step for this one. So, because we're going to have to divide, we're going to use man horse. And I hope you remember that, that strategy we taught you guys. The man is on top. He rides the horse, right? So when you're dividing, who's going to go into the house? Well, the man is going to go into the house because a horse doesn't go into the house, right? The horse stays outside, okay? Now let's go ahead and divide. 2 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. And I hope y'all remembered whole donut. Remember, this is the whole donut. The whole number equals 1. The denominator is 2. And the numerator is 1. So that we are going to need 1.5 eggs. Now let's go ahead and put them in the bowl and mix it up, and we're putting it into the oven next. Stay tuned.
Time to eat the whole cake.